Hello, Taurus. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. I always feel like every time I get into the Taurus readings, I'm like a wannabe Taurus, and I say that because it's in my rising. I think the only thing that I get off of that is my hoarding tendencies when it comes to things I get obsessed with. But I love my Taurians. All right, guys, interesting this week, and it's really weird the feeling that I'm getting off of this. So, from Le Vampire Free Will, Sovereignty, Independence, and Free Spirit, and then from Chakra Wisdom, Service. Now, let's just start with service. This card is asking you to give up what you think you deserve and attract to you just what you need by being of service to others. The very first quote for this says, I attract to you whatever you desire if you give up your desires. But I don't think that that's it. Now, the card at a glance says, the energy here is one of manifesting through being of service. This card indicates a steadfast ability to stay the course emotionally and create something sustainable and lasting. It can also bring to light not seeing or valuing what you have. But because of free will, it changes it for me. When you're talking about free will, first of all, like I said before, it's a beautiful thing. That's why we say the outcomes as far as readings go are never set in stone. You can change your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions at any time, right? All right, Taurus, if I can get these cards straight, geez. Here's your overall for the week. Oh boy, I don't know what is up with him. So, the King of Wands as your overall. Now, for some of you, you may be dealing with a fire sign, right? Aries, Leo, Sag being the King of Wands. For some of you, it's really about you being a little bit more adventurous, though, too. But when I see the king, I always think that this is somebody who is a little bit smarter about where their passions are leading them, but he's always on the move. But like I said, for some of you may be focused on a person, and one of the things that I point out with him is he has a tendency to show up when somebody is attracted. The man of passion being attracted to him. Anybody would be, right? But we'll see how this is playing out. Oh my. 2 men, maybe, for some of you. The King of Cups. So now let's just talk about the energy. Now, this may be because of people in your space or a person. But when you're looking at the King of Cups as the past, the energy surrounding you may be one of being like in control of your emotions or taking an emotional distance, right? Still very loving, still very supportive, but he knows not to get too emotionally involved. Now, we could be talking about the same person here. And it may be that they were communicating some emotions to you, possibly in the past, or you them. Maybe feeling a little bit emotional. Or you're dealing with 2 different people here and you have water and fire. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, or Aries, Leo, and Sag going on. But I'm waiting to see how this connects here. So, I'm looking at, if we're talking about you right now, you go from this emotional state here to being a little bit more passionate, a little bit more driven, action-orientated, so to speak. Oh boy. Oh, okay. The 8 of Wands in the present. So, I don't know, communication is what popped up for me on this one. Now, with the 8 of Wands, right, quick-moving situations, some of you may have, quickly made a choice, possibly involving 2 people. But, the other thing, too, is kind of watching everything fall into place for you. I always feel like I need to say that when it comes to the 8 of Wands, because things don't just move really super quickly and then go completely out of control, as long as you're willing to put in the action. And with the King of Wands being the overall, yeah. But I just feel like everything just kind of and falls into place here. But then communication, though, is what sticks out. So, and I'm always saying this. It seems like every fucking reading. I want to see what's happening here. Okay. The 9 of Wands in future conditions. Is it you or is it the other person here that you're dealing with? When I look at this 9 of Wands, This is definitely somebody who has the wall up, right? Being a little bit defensive, on guard, right? The wounded warrior, somebody who's been through the fight, they're ready to go again. There's still persistence there. But with this one, like, he's protecting that Ace of Wands and he's watching the growth happening around it, but not letting anything else come in, protecting what's important to him. And it may be that communication may be being blocked a little bit because somebody may be being a little bit defensive emotionally, possibly. And for Taurus, the Eight of Wands, that's not something that goes well with you anyway. I mean, you can't force Taurus to do shit. And I don't care if it's in your rising or moon or sun. Wherever it is, you can't. Like, you can't force a Taurus to do anything. And I wonder if that's what's going on here. And I worry that, we're not talking about the King of Swords here. But, for those of you who are just dealing with one person, like, I almost see this as somebody who comes in, like, almost like sweet talking and, like, trying to get you to move, but you're like, no. And then again, if you may be focused on this person here, but then you have somebody else who's trying to communicate to you and you're like blocking it out. It's either you or somebody else. Wow. All right. Your best path to follow, the Nine of Pentacles. This to me is like, it's almost saying like you need to keep your independence here and not get too like involved with either one of these men. If you're dealing with two different people, right? And male or female, being a general reading, what I look at is the energy surrounding the card because of a person. And I know I've said that before, but anyway, I feel like you need to almost like remove yourself from it. And like keep your independence, I'm looking at this King of Cups and going, what is it about, the emotional energy that is important to you? But then there's still that like defensive nature here with the Nine of Wands. But the Nine of Pentacles, like immediately independence, needing to remove yourself from becoming too attached either way. Especially if it's going to affect your security. When you're looking at the Nine of Pentacles, you're talking about somebody who's busted their ass to get where they're at. I mean, you have the 8 that comes before this. You have a lot to show for everything that you've worked for. There's abundance around you for sure. And again, I go back to free will and think, you don't have to do shit for anybody. But I don't know, like I get the feeling somebody's trying to push you to do something though. Look at it, right? Now I'm going to just say this. For some of you, you may be dealing with, it's one or the other here. Because I feel like I'm talking to both. I feel like I'm talking to those of you who are dealing with two different people or the same person and two different aspects of the same person, okay? The Six of Wands, you're talking about attention, recognition. I don't think that this has to do with, him being Mr. Popularity, so to speak. I think that this is about you receiving this recognition, this attention for the work that you do, possibly. It's a little bit different than the Three of Pentacles, right? The job well done in receiving that applause, that recognition, attention, and you may be dealing with somebody who's an attention whore, possibly, wanting to constantly get your attention. But I'm looking at, like, wow. And there may be this, like, communication going on. Some of you may be blocking it out from becoming anything further because you may be focused on something else or someone else. But, right, the Six of Wands is a victory, so no matter what you're dealing with, right, like, you're going to do the right thing. You're going to be recognized for doing, the right thing here. I don't know. I'm still looking at that Eight of Wands going, like, push, push. And you going, no. Hell no. Wow. Okay. Your hopes and fears. Jeez. Judgment. Wow, Taurus. What the fuck is going on? Is something being brought back up? You may have your focus in one area right now, but like I almost feel like a frog leap happening here, you know? But I don't think that you're interested. Especially if we're talking about a person from the past coming through. Now, like I said though, like I still feel like you may be dealing with the same person here, but just like it's like they're trying to sweet talk you into doing something quickly, but you're not doing it because there's something else that you're protecting, something that's more important to you, and you're needing to like gain your independence in this situation. But like either way, whether we're talking about the attention coming in from another person here, or if we're just talking about, you know, you doing the right thing for you and not being forced to do anything you want. When I look at Judgment, though, with the hopes and fears, you know, are you wanting something to, like, be brought back up? Possibly that, or you're just hoping that, you know, you can, like, be done with it and move on. You know? But this is big. And when we're talking about the past with Judgment, you got the King of Cups sitting there. You know, rebirth, right? But then, I don't know, I think for some of you, it's you hoping that, you know, you can make your peace with it, though, and leave it where it is. Because, like I said, with the King of Wands being the overall, the attention is, like, somewhere else. And something or someone is being blocked out. Oh, Taurus! What? Okay. The Two of Cups. Now, you know, and I say this whenever this shows up. When we're talking about the Two of Cups, it doesn't have to be romantic, right? But you're talking about the emotional connection between two people. And I always look across at what originally kicked it off in the first place. And I mean, you know, yeah. I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at it this way. I'm looking at possibly communication. Maybe somebody trying to push you to do something that I don't think that you're really comfortable with. But then there's something else. There's something else you're focused on. And then this, right? But then needing to maintain your, like, independence possibly from a person. Like, not wanting to be pushed to, like, you know, make a full-on commitment. But what's being brought back up, though, with Judgment? Now, it could just be that, you know, their emotional distance from the past is something that, you know, you're hoping is like over with, because with the Two of Cups, you're talking about the emotional connection and possibly getting victory over that, right? So, first you have the Ace of Swords. Absolute clarity, absolute mental clarity, right? And then not only that, but having the truth or knowing your truth. And then you have Temperance. So when I look at Temperance, especially when it's connected to the Two of Cups, you know, because she's got the Two Cups, right? Now, definitely you talk about, you know, you being patient with the situation here, maybe not being a little bit, you know, so defensive. But the thing is, though, is with the Queen of Swords coming out now, I do feel like that's more having to do with you because of the two kings sitting there. It's almost like giving the cold shoulder possibly to somebody, but like needing to figure it out first with Temperance, you know, because you're talking about that nice even flow, the equilibrium, you know, between how you're thinking, how you're feeling, what you're actually wanting, being patient, being balanced, right? Needing to find that balance. But it's only when you accept the truth of the situation and you get that clarity on it that you move into a space where you feel like, all right, I'm going to have to figure this out, but somebody is going to have to be cut out with the Queen of Swords coming out. You know, and again, that's for those of you who are dealing with two different people. Now, if you're just dealing with one person here and they may be trying to smooth talk you into doing something that you're not like wanting to be forced to do, then with the Queen of Swords, you're just getting straight to the point. You don't want that emotional bullshit. Like, you know, I'm just going to tell you what it is and that's it. But we're still looking at, you know, the emotional connection here with the Two of Cups. Wow, Taurus, what's happening? You know, and like I said, for those of you dealing with two people, somebody is getting the boot. Somebody is definitely going to get the boot. You know, and it makes sense why judgment would be hopes and fears. You know, because it's really about you being able to leave it in the past. You know, your focus, I mean, it looks all right here. But, you know, I feel iffy about the Nine of Wands. I feel like, you know, pushing somebody, like, out for a minute because, you know, you're really focused on, you know, what you're really wanting, right? But, like, it's up to you. It's up to you. But I still feel like your advice here is, like, to keep, you know, I don't want to say keep a distance, but like you need to maintain your own independence despite what's going on. Now, if you are like in the decision-making phase here between two people, again, the Two of Cups, like I feel more so that the advice here would be that you need to make sure that you have, you know, stability before you do anything. Okay. You know, there's a reason why something else is being blocked out, right? And that's for those of you who are in a relationship. It's because with the world, you know, this is the complete relationship. It's not the ending. It's a relationship that makes you feel complete. It makes you feel good, right? It's a very fulfilling relationship, which is beautiful to see. And, you know, if you're feeling that, then you need to give in to that, right? Like, if you feel like you're in a relationship with somebody that completes you, as cheesy as that sounds, right? It's worth you exploring that and exploring the depths of it even. So, for those of you who are in a relationship, it looks really good. Now, for those of you who are single, again, it's like somebody coming to you and like trying to offer something here, but it's just not enough. And it's not enough for you. I don't feel like it's not enough for the other person. Like I see them like almost trying to push you into an encounter with the Knight of Cups being there, but it's just not enough. Like it's just not enough. Now, you know, and going back to the Queen of Swords, you know, for those of you who are single, like I said, somebody's getting the boot. They're getting cut out because it's just the emotions surrounding what they're saying to you, it just isn't working for you, is what I feel like. But damn it, Taurus, really? You are definitely getting some attention, for sure. But, you know, for those of you who are in a relationship, I think that your relationship is more important to you. And I do think that with the Ace of Swords, right? Like, you're not hiding anything. You're being truthful about everything. But there's also a part of you that's like, you know, needing to find balance in this situation, you know? I think it's something that you like, give kind of a thought to, but not, like, fully. All right, Taurus. I don't know what it is about this one, but I don't feel heavy about it. Like, I think that this is targeted to those of you who are just like, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, I almost see some of you going, yeah, I know, I'm not good at it. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's funny as hell. All right, now, as far as service and free will, yeah, you have the right to say yes and no to whatever the hell you want, right? It's up to you on whether or not, you want to provide a service or not. I don't think that you need to give up anything. I don't feel like you need to give up any of your desires here. But there's like a line, I feel like, that's being crossed for some of you. And it's one of those things where you're like, no, like needing to not feel like you're obligated to do something for somebody if you're not comfortable with it. If you're providing a service, whatever that is. Now, as far as the reading goes, you have the King of Wands as the main focus. So, for some of you, this may be the person that you're mainly focused on. Now, because he's showing up as the past, and it doesn't matter if you're male or female, right? The energy is what's important to me. So with the King of Wands, I'm looking at somebody that there may be an attraction to. Somebody who may be really passionate, always on the go, but smart about what they're doing. And then with the King of Cups, whether it's a male or female, this is somebody who, may be speaking in an emotional way, but not being like obsessive, like the Queen of Cups, okay? Now, if we're talking about the same person, we're talking about at one point there's like an emotional distance, I feel like, more than anything, with the King of Cups showing up as the past. And then, the overall is really about passion and drive. Now, I'm sorry, but like really, I mean, anybody look at that and call it, there's attention coming from a couple of different people, very possibly, and you're attracting this, and I think you don't even know it. Now, with the Eight of Wands, though, I do think that somebody may be pushing you to do something. Like, I feel like that, but I don't think it's anything that's even going to affect you. It's like somebody trying to actually push a bull. That bull ain't going nowhere, so forget it. It's almost like, what are you doing? Why are you tickling me, right? But then communication does come up with this, though, too. But I feel like, you're blocking something out. You're blocking something or someone out here. And you may be dealing with somebody who's being, like, extremely persistent. And with Judgment being hopes and fears, and then you needing to maintain your independence, like, separate yourself from it, it's like needing to just, like, get rid of it, and clear it up once and for all. But then again, looking at Judgment as hopes and fears, what were you hoping to have come back, though? And that's for some of you. But as far as the Two of Cups coming out, no matter what you choose to do here, right? And again, if you're dealing with two different people, you have truth and clarity on this, but it's also about accepting the truth. What is the truth for you? And then you move into Temperance, where you're needing to get like that equilibrium on this, right? And then you move into the Queen of Swords, where somebody is going to get the boot, and unfortunately I think it's the King of Cups. But again, that's for those of you who are dealing with two different people, and again, it doesn't matter, male or female. But, I see you moving into a place here with these two where there is possibly a connection that's, more passionate for you, right? But then I also do think that for some of you, there's so many different things I'm getting off of this. You may be dealing with somebody who's trying to sweet talk you into doing something, and I don't think that you're having it. But either way, this is going to have to do with the connection that you have with another person. Okay? Doesn't have to be romantic. It could just be family members. It could be, work partnerships, whatever. But, and I'm just going to leave it alone. Now, for those of you who are single, unrequited, and then the Knight of Cups, whatever this person is coming at you with is not enough. It ain't enough. And I think it's not enough for you. Not so much them. But I do think, and again, the whole forcing an encounter. But it's not enough. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, romantic feelings in the world, for those of you who are in a relationship, this is beautiful. And you need to give in to that. If you are happy with the person that you are with, the world is basically saying that, it's not the ending of a relationship. It's feeling complete But with romantic feelings, it's saying that you need to give into that feeling and really explore that. And, like needing to just indulge in the feeling of, wow, I'm in a really good relationship. I feel really good, and focus on that, right? And not let anything else try to invade your space.